arriving anytime, anywhere, with a fury greater than is imaginable. Deviljho, Deviljho, Deviljho. Say his name 3 times, and you'll summon him, you know. Wait, you hear that? What? Oh no. Oh no. Oh no! Oh God! Oh! Yeah, the dog one! Yeah, the dog one! He's bleeding so much. Here's everything you need to know about Deviljho. 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 Oh, not again! So, with Deviljho round the corner, I thought it would be pertinent to talk about his lore, his ecology, some theories, and just generally how the Deviljho do. I find him a fascinating and terrifying creature. I mean, when you are known as the World Eater and the Violent Wyvern, you got a lot going for you. So this one might be a bit more audio focused, so feel free to go on. In fact, no, go on a hunt while you listen to this. Yeah, tell me what you hunted. We're doing one of those again. So, where to begin with this guy? So he first got introduced in Monster Hunter 3 as a kinda haha fuck you surprise. So you're fighting a fairly innocent bird wyvern called, I say innocent, he has the blood of thousands on his hands, called Kurapeko, and it uses the throat sac to mimic the cries of larger, more threatening monsters as a defense mechanism. But when it mimics the cry, it tends to essentially just call that monster to the area. So you're fighting it, and it mimics a Deviljho roar, and you're like, what the hell is that? Then the theme kicks in, a theme that always overtakes every other theme, like Basil Gear. So I'm interested to see which one actually wins out in world. I'm gonna guess it might be random. Then you hear the stomping, you hear the roar. You turn round and see this giant spiked Pickle Rex from hell, who proceeds to beat you into the ground, and in some cases quite literally eat you. He can eat entire species into extinction and entire ecosystems into disarray. He is a super predator of such colossal power that he is one of the few non-elder dragons that can take elder dragons. He fights with such an unstoppable fury that something this fueled by rage should not be seen outside of a Marvel comic. And look, I'm really not exaggerating. Deviljho is walking hate twixt fury twixt that feeling you get when you stub your toe or step on a Lego. A kind of unbridled rage that eclipses the sun. And this means, and I really want to stress this because it's so badass and terrifying, a Deviljho literally cannot walk away from a fight, and it literally cannot help itself from fighting everything. So that means it comes across a Rathalos, it will fight it to the death instantly. Comes across an Uragan, it will fight it to the death instantly. A Lagiacrus, death instantly. It prefers to hunt herbivores like Aptonoth to keep up its energy that it's expending constantly through its high body temperature, metabolism, and, constant fighting. But no matter the monster it encounters, no matter what is alive before it, it will not walk away until something is alive and something is dead, be it itself or the target. Their jaws are so built that they're able to use them as crude shovels to scoop up any matter on the ground, rock, ice, and send them at you in hurtling boulders that crush bone and break armor. He has shark-esque rows and rows of teeth going on that rotate forward as he loses them and are apparently covering his entire chin and upper mouth. This is what gives him that shoveling ability. It's where the grip comes from. He is able to summon the element dragon, a rare and rarely seen element, and he is able to channel it into a laser beam of darkness and red electricity that will quite literally, kill your ass, but also rob your weapons of their elemental and status powers. He has saliva that if he coats you in it will corrode your armor, making it useless, so the next time he kinda looks at you mean, and Deviljho only has mean look, your speed will be lowered harshly, he will one-shot you. And not always, I'm hyping him up here. Although not really. And he's essentially some frickin' sugar rush 7-year-old's idea of the coolest monster ever, yet it works. It's like straight up, I want a huge T-Rex with teeth everywhere that can fire laser beams and make it massive, I said, okay? And he has acid alien saliva, and I like pickles, so make his tail a pickle, and it's just awesome that it works, right? But that's not even the beginning, really, because Deviljho, of course, gets angry, and when he gets angry, his muscles bunch up, they go rigid, they make his skin tougher, so you want to attack his belly when he's enraged, as that becomes his weak spot, and when that happens, his body temperature rises, much like Deviljho, to such an incredible height that the battle scars he's accrued from all of this constant carnage that he thrusts himself deep into light up. They glow, they highlight. You see his body covered in the wounds of old, each one marking a creature he has savaged to death. On top of that, his blood gets so warm it glows from within, turning him into this red engine of just utter decimation. Is that not just okay, Deviljho, can we please calm down? No! Deviljho cannot calm down! He is biologically unable to calm down! This is a creature who is on a frickin' cellular level, is unable to walk away from the fight until what he is fighting is dead, or he's unable to move. And look, in-game, Deviljho will limp, he will walk away from you, which I always found a shame, because, why not make him the one monster that never actually tries to flee? No matter how injured, it will fight to the bitter end. Make it match the actual lore and ecology of the creature, but I guess they never thought that was, balanced, but that's how it is. A creature of such ridiculousness that when put in a pitfall trap, instead of trying to focus on escaping, will still try and eat you. Yeah, he's able to attack in a pitfall trap, so good luck with that. It's no wonder he has the reputation that he has. So Deviljho's vision is quite poor. It's not the greatest of sight. However, it does have an incredibly enhanced sense of smell. This is partly confirmed by just how badly it reacts to dung pods, one of the main defenses against it. Again, very similar to Deviljho. There's a reason a lot of people are like, okay, Deviljho is an explosive flying Deviljho. Huh. So I guess to everyone playing World as their first Monster Hunter game, I'm very interested to see your reactions to Deviljho. If he carves out his own niche, or if he's just a T-Rex Deviljho. It's actually going to be quite a nice thing to find out. So essentially, a huge T-Rex-esque creature covered in teeth and spikes, capable of firing dragon beams, corrosive saliva, bunching its muscles up to a defense level equivalent to just straight up armor, is eating entire ecosystems into complete disarray, able to fight and win against nearly any other creature in the game, and indeed unable to stop itself from doing so, as it's permanently on a crusade to go from place to place, eating and destroying all in its path. A true super predator of such terrifying, virulent, destructive power that it just beggars belief. How he is feared by monsters and people in the Monster Hunter world alike is incredibly justified, and he really will eat anything. You put meat down in front of him, he will eat it, even if it's drugged and he falls asleep after. He really doesn't care. You cut off his tail And his response is, oh, thanks for the meal, guys! And he will eat his own tail if sufficiently hungry and exhausted enough. So I hope you got your carbs. I mean, how much more can you assert dominance? He just eats his own tail, which admittedly sucks for him, because the reason his tail is so thick is because it's a counterbalance to the sheer bulk and muscle, because this thing is a strong animal, easily able to overpower creatures much larger than it, as the scars across his body do point to. But the tail is used to counterbalance all that bulk, weight, and strength. So when you do cut the tail off, it does kind of shake him off tilter a little bit. So it's kind of a neat little thing you can think about there. But he doesn't just eat his own tail, he likes it. You see, he likes Deviljho flesh. If a Deviljho eats enough Deviljho flesh, because they are cannibalistic, their violence and death extends to other Deviljho, which is why how they mate and how they rear young and that kind of side of them completely unknown, because a creature of just permanent pure carnage, like, when does it find time to settle down and have an angry family? But it will eat and cannibalize other Deviljho, and once it does that sufficiently, it will become a savage Deviljho, which means that a normal Deviljho's enraged state becomes its normal state of being, and then it unlocks a Super Saiyan 3-esque beyond enraged state on top of that, where its head will get engulfed in the dragon black and red fire, its eyes glowing red with demonic fury. It becomes colossally powerful and absolutely ridiculously intimidating. It is just insane seeing a savage Deviljho enraged for the first time. It's a sight that you don't forget. And hell, you can even starve the Deviljho, and instead of getting weaker like you might expect, it becomes a, well, starving Deviljho, but it gets a kind of golden hue to its hide and becomes even more powerful than the savage variant, able to stomp the ground and send dragon element exploding out of it. So it's just insane. There's even an Attack on Titan crossover version of it without skin. So that's, imagine seeing that walking towards you. But yeah, I essentially just wanted this to be a Deviljho's ridiculous, get excited that he's coming, there's a reason everyone's like, oh my god, Deviljho! He is one of a kind in how he is, and he's a creature that on paper should be so silly, he should be impossible to take seriously, yet it somehow works. He carries this aura of intimidation that he has so well, and while we call him Pickle, we make fun of him, it's like, oh, Joe's here, you know, the kind of same reaction we get with, oh, Deviljho again. That doesn't take away from the fact that he is just magnificent, and he is scary. And I really hope his world incarnation does him justice. One of the coolest things about Deviljho, though, is where did he come from? Where did he Deviljho? I thought that was pretty good. But he has to have already been on an island, because as fun as it is to imagine Deviljho giving him a lift, he didn't swim across the ocean, though he probably would try and chase someone into the ocean. But he has to have already existed, but there has to be a reason why we've not bumped into him until now, right? You can't just be like, oh, he just appeared. Surely someone in the research commission would be like, hang on a minute, where did Deviljho come from? So surely his existence is a viable connection to a new zone, eventually at least, right? Like maybe he was triggered to move by either hunting everything too thin, he needs richer grounds, so he goes towards the forest and then moves throughout the new world that way, or maybe Zora's crossing kind of riled them and they've only just now come over, or Zeno's energy kind of triggered it. But I would love him to be from, as I said in the previous video where I kind of theorized a little bit, that I would love him to be from the kind of deep jungly area north of the current ancient forest, and that he has kind of left an impact on the environment. It's a lot more barren despite the denseness of the jungle there. There's maybe Nursilla or some kind of insect type monster, and it's a I don't know, I like to imagine an environment decimated by Deviljho, let them live up to their ecosystem-destroying nature, and have a rainforesty jungle which should be filled with life, but make it barren and creepy and empty and full of creatures that you might not kind of see. The type of creatures you might expect in the Rotten Vale, but it's the empty jungle. That would actually be kind of a cool name for the map, wouldn't it? But yeah, I like the possibilities that Deviljho simply showing up does provide for us, and I really hope that they sneak Savage Deviljho in without telling us, and we just encounter it one day. That would be so awesome. But for now, let me know if you like this kind of thing. There's a lot of ways to present monster information, but with something like Deviljho, I can only do him justice in a kind of piece like this. I feel like the documentary wouldn't have worked, but that still definitely can happen depending on how he ends up being in world. But yeah, let me know if you like this sort of thing. There's plenty of famous monsters I can do this for, and I'll see you next time. Get excited for Deviljho Probe. Like if you enjoyed it, subscribe for more. Oh, goodbye. Oh, not again!
Rage Gaming with the video float.
But that's all that's really relevant at the mo, but I'm still gonna leave this up so you patrons know that I love you even though the outro's no longer that kind of relevant. But the new one's being worked on and it's gonna be a truly badass song, and don't worry, I won't be doing any rapping on it. I'm gonna go now. This was shit.